Good morning, and thank you all for joining us on such a momentous occasion, the groundbreaking for Berkeley Way. For those of you who don't know me, I am Colleen Egan, Executive Director of Berkeley Food and Housing Project. This morning you will be hearing from our partners at Bridge Housing and the City of Berkeley. This project is the vision of Berkeley Food and Housing Project's retired Executive Director, Terry Light, who you'll also be hearing from. As you can imagine, there have been many efforts, collaboration, and hard work from so many people to make this happen, and I want to thank all of those involved. The Berkeley Way development is a partnership between Berkeley Food and Housing Project and Bridge Housing. The site includes two side-by-side developments, Bridge's Berkeley Way Apartments with 89 affordable housing homes, and the Hope Center with 53 permanent supportive housing apartments, a 32-bed homeless shelter, 12 transitional beds for veterans, and a community kitchen, which also includes wraparound services for mental health, substance abuse, job training, and social activities. The vision of the Hope Center is to bring people experiencing homelessness together in a variety of different housing capacities on a peer-to-peer level, offering encouragement, shared experience, and of course, hope. With that said, it is my pleasure to introduce the next speaker, Berkeley City Manager Dee Williams Ridley.
So thank you very much. I am absolutely proud to be here today with this amazing groundbreaking. The Berkeley Way Project is the largest, biggest affordable and homeless housing project in the city's history. This has been what I would call more than a decade in the making. And I am profoundly grateful to be a part of seeing this to fruition. It would never have been possible without the unwavering support of our City Council, particularly Mayor Jesse Adegean and former Council Member Chris Worthington. So many city departments and staff were critical in getting this project done, and I want to offer my sincere and absolute thanks to a few people who really made it happen. There's always a lot of names to share, so I want to make sure that I capture them because this is one of the most legendary, groundbreaking projects that we will see probably in any of our time standing here today. Amy Davidson, she has led this project since 2014 and was supported by HHCS Manager, our Housing Community Services Manager, Kristen Lee, and Deputy Director, Kelly Wallace. Paul Budenhagen provided critical, absolute stellar leadership as our HHCS Director and Deputy City Manager. Our former Planning Director, Timothy Burrows, was also Project Planner Sharon Gong and planning staff. Our Public Works Director, Phil Harrington, and Principal Planner Beth Thomas and the entire Public Works team, as well as our City Attorney Farima Brown and Assistant City Attorney Chris Jensen. Without the support of people in the financial area, such as our Berkeley Budget Manager, Teresa Berkeley-Simmons, our Finance Director, Henry Okiami, and our Office of Economic Development Manager, Jordan Klein. As you can see, this effort takes truly an effort of many partners. And I would be remiss without thanking Andy Turner, Neil Saxby, and former Project Manager Jamie Hitzsue at Bridge Housing, Scott Facone, who worked with the Berkeley Food and Housing Project, and Terry Light, and Colleen Egan, the former and current directors at Berkeley Food and Housing Program. They originally had the vision for this amazing project. So I am very proud of our strong, wonderful partnership with Bridge and Berkeley Food and Housing, and I'm grateful for their continued leadership. I'm also very proud to work in Berkeley. This is a community that supported Measure O, which made this project possible. Without it, we would not be standing here today. So to the Berkeley community, thank you for actively working to end homelessness and to embracing the project from this start. I am profoundly grateful. Thank you all. Thank you.
Well, I am so excited for this moment, the virtual groundbreaking of the Hope Center and the Berkeley Way Apartments. This is the end of a long journey that started over 20 years ago when the Berkeley Food and Housing Project was searching for a new location for our men's shelter. And along the way, the vision of the Hope Center, an innovative multi-service center providing supportive services and shelter and housing, was born. The City Council in 2009 endorsed this vision, and over the last 10 plus years, we have been exploring the redevelopment of our surface level Berkeley Way parking lot. In 2013, this vision took an important first step when we authorized the issuance of an RFP for developing the Berkeley Way lot. And since 2014, the City of Berkeley has worked in partnership with Bridge and BFHP to design this project, to secure the entitlements and the necessary funding. The Hope Center, as you know, will provide 53 studios of permanent supportive housing for residents at 15% of the area median or below. That is housing for the lowest income in our community. A new 32-bed emergency shelter and 12 transitional housing beds for veterans. And the Berkeley Way Apartments will provide 89 apartments for families at 50 and 60% of the area median. The idea that these two buildings are standing side by side is an example of the city's commitment to our housing crisis. And we know that unsheltered homelessness and the significant shortage of affordable housing are some of the greatest challenges our region and state face. And this is part of Berkeley's work to address those two problems. As mayor, I made addressing homelessness and the need for affordable housing as my highest priority. And I was proud to champion this project in partnership with Bridge and Berkeley Food and Housing Project. And this development is a symbol of that commitment. It is the largest affordable housing development in Berkeley history. And this project demonstrates vision, perseverance, creativity, and compassion for families with low incomes and people who are experiencing homelessness. And we're so fortunate to live in a city that is willing to step up and contribute towards our efforts to solve these issues. And I want to thank the voters of Berkeley for approving Measure O and Measure P in 2018, providing us the resources to make this project happen. Lastly, I want to thank the following individuals, my current and former colleagues, specifically Councilmember Kate Harrison and former council members Linda Mayo and Chris Worthington. Chris particularly was a huge champion for this project, and without whose help, we would not be here to celebrate this great moment. And I want to thank the entire Berkeley City Council, who since 2009 have supported the vision for this project and have approved over $20 million in city funding, which we've been able to leverage with state and other funding. Thank you to Bridge Housing and specifically the project team, who brought their expertise and creativity to the table, and without whom this project would not be possible. And even when we faced challenges and when it was uncertain whether this project would happen, Bridge rolled up their sleeves and worked with the city to keep the project on budget and on track. So thank you, Brad Wiblin and the entire team at Bridge. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank Terry Light. Terry's been working to make the vision of the Hope Center reality for over a decade. And she not only created the vision for the Hope Center, but was a determined advocate who lobbied for support, who raised funds, who advocated for governmental grants so that this project could become a reality. So thank you, Terry, and thank you to the Berkeley Food and Housing Project. I look forward, hopefully in person, to celebrating the next milestone, the ribbon cutting in 2022. And can't wait to join you to open the Hope Center and the Berkeley Way Apartments to the first families and clients. So thank you all for all your work.
Congratulations to the Berkeley Food and Housing Project, Bridge Housing, and the entire Berkeley community on the groundbreaking of Berkeley Way. As the supervisor for District 5, which includes the city of Berkeley, I'm excited to see this project take place. I understand it's the largest affordable homeless housing project in the city's history, and we all should be celebrating that. And so congratulations to Berkeley. Alameda County is very proud and happy to be supporting Berkeley Way by way of using some of our Measure A County Measure A1 monies that we had, which was from our affordable housing bond, which took place in 2016. I understand in conversations with talking to our community development agency, the county's development agency, that this has been a very collaborative effort. And we've always had good working relationships with Berkeley on a number of housing projects. So it's excited that we continue that relationship. Everybody knows right now that the timing is right to build this affordable housing. The city of Berkeley alone has reported about 1,000 plus individuals who are experiencing homelessness on any given night. I know I've attended some of the meetings in West Berkeley and South Berkeley regarding homelessness, and to see the ability to have housing for individuals who are experiencing homelessness, for individuals who are over the age of 60. It's very important that we have this kind of housing to be built. And I understand that the total number of shelter beds is around 32. There are about 53 permanent supportive housing units and about 12 transitional housing beds, all of which is critical and important at this point in time to house people as they're looking for shelter on any given night. What also makes this project, I understand, a very important project is the collaboration that has taken place with some of our community-based partners like Lifelong Medical that are providing health and wellness services on the site for individuals. And so while we're collaborating on this project to integrate intervention programs right there to help people, I think it is very critical. I'm excited again about this project, being born and raised in Berkeley, and have seen the transformation it has gone. And Berkeley has always been attempting to meet the challenges of individuals who fall into the safety net. So again, I just want to congratulate Berkeley Way on this project and all of those who collaborated. And I look forward to it being completed in 2022.
Hello, I'm Councilmember Kate Harrison, and this is my district, District 4. But long before I ever thought about going into politics, I was on the board of Berkeley Food and Housing Project. 10 years ago, this project was a dream of a small-ish organization that wanted to do the right thing in our community. BFHP started as a food program at a church in South Berkeley and has lived with Berkeley all these years. 40 years later, they are still here doing the hard work of dealing with homelessness in Berkeley and helping people who are forced to live on the streets. In addition, Bridge Housing is an amazing partner for the city, having done so much to develop this project and ensure that we get the affordable housing that we need, along with the housing for formerly homeless residents. I want to thank everyone at BFHP and Bridge Housing for their incredible fortitude in getting through this process with us. I don't think this could have been done without the vision of those two organizations. But it also could not have been done without our city staff. The partnership with climate funds has made all the difference in this project. Our ability to use money that comes from cap and trade has meant that this is possible, because in addition to the housing advantages of this project, it is also a transit-first project. We're a mere 2 blocks from BART. This is the right place to put housing. I want to say to the residents of District 4, thank you. Particularly, I know this is hard on you. As my husband dropped me off, he said, that's the last time I'm going to be able to park in this parking lot. And yeah, that's true. And it is hard on all of us that live nearby. But let me just say, this is the greater good that we're engaged in. This will make such a difference to our streets. And I think as residents, we're going to find that the streets are in better shape because we have a place for people to be housed. So I think for us who live here in D4, this is a complete win-win, and I'm very delighted that this is happening. I cannot say enough about the project itself and its design. The entry on Berkeley Way is lovely. The way that the entrance is going to be managed for the homeless people coming in, the way the housing is integrated, is all these features architecturally are really important to our neighborhood, which values design as well as housing. So I appreciate those of you that worked on the design aspects. That was an important piece for me, and I've really seen it come to light. So again, thank you all for coming today. I'm looking forward to this being completed. I think it's due to be done in 2022. This project is a bright spot in a dark time, and I just want to thank all of you for making that a reality. With that, I'll introduce Brad Wibland from Bridge Housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Harrison. I also want to put a special thank you out to Councilmember Harrison's predecessor, Chris Worthington, who really saw the germ of this and bought into it early on. And then finally, I want to thank Mayor Arreguín, who has showed unwavering support from the very beginning. This project has had numerous twists and turns, as they all do. But here we are today at a milestone, breaking ground, and a year and a half before we'll be able to house anyone, we're going to be creating really, literally hundreds of essential construction jobs. So I think about this in a couple different phases. The first phase is an economic development engine. The second phase is really housing people in Berkeley. I have to thank the council in particular for supporting housing of all kinds, to house the whole community of Berkeley. Behind me, the market is doing its job in building market rate housing, but to deliver housing that's affordable to formerly homeless individuals or low-income working families really takes a partnership, and the city has been a phenomenal partner. I remember interviewing with Berkeley Food and Housing, their board, which must have been 25 or 30 people, as they told us about their vision, specifically Terry Light, who you'll hear from in a minute. Terry sold me on the project, and then I had to go back to Bridge Housing and sell my board on the project. Yes, we're going to build housing for formerly homeless, for veterans, a community kitchen, and we're going to build some workforce housing right next door. Well, thankfully, the leadership team took on that challenge, and a short 8 years later, here we are, prepared to break ground. I'm proud that we're going to build 186 houses, homes for families, homeless veterans, people literally off the street in the emergency shelter. And then Bridge's core business, the building we're going to build next door, is really for low and moderate income working families, the backbone of the economy. With that, I want to introduce our visionary and our helmsman through this effort. Terry Light, the former executive director of Berkeley Food and Housing, has a short message here, and then we'll come back for the ceremonial groundbreaking. Thank you.
My name is Terry Light, and I was an employee of Berkeley Food and Housing Project for over 20 years and was proud to serve as executive director for some of those years. Just to give an idea of what it takes to make something like this happen, I was writing some notes, like to think about what was the germ that led to this amazing project. And it was a 2-day board retreat in 2003. Okay, so do the math. It's a long time ago. But in this vision for a building, there was a lot of conversation that then got to, well, in Berkeley, there's no land to do this. And we're not going to move to another county or state where there'd be plenty of land. So let's think about, what's realistic for Berkeley. So we'll just keep fast forwarding. It's 2009 and the city council. So Linda Meyer, who's another retired city council member, and council member Chris Worthington, and Jesse Arreguin, who's now the mayor, were on city council and had an agenda item to establish this idea of this services enriched building somewhere in Berkeley. So they had a they had a vision for Berkeley. That led, keep fast forwarding, to an item that the Berkeley City Council issued an RFQ for the Berkeley Way parking lot. And on the Berkeley Way parking lot, they put a lot of things that the city had decided in a citywide committee of what they wanted on that lot. Should it be converted from its use as a parking lot to a building? And it was a list of everything. Like, we want a shelter, we want permanent housing, we want services, we want, mental health care. And I saw the RFQ and I got very excited because I said, this is what we always wanted. We always wanted this building with integrated services, everything in one place. I said, we can do this proposal. We wanted a building where there was peer support. So there was levels of people, not levels isn't the right word. There were people living in the building in many stages of being housed, from people living outdoors to people staying in the shelter to people in permanent housing. And they could develop relationships with one another. And one of the aspirational goals we had was that people would see the people in permanent housing the people that come in, because there's going to be a community meal program there, just a drop-in meal, and that they would come in and get to meet and eat with the people in permanent housing and get to talk about that. So for people that were leery or fearful of making that step, they could develop personal relationships that might help them change their mind. There is a medical clinic being built on site. So where both there'll be a primary care physician working there and mental health providers, so that people's mental health and physical health all gets taken care of. Comprehensive, real wraparound, taking care of the whole person in the building. That's what we really wanted. And it's super exciting to know that that's going to be the case in a couple of years when it's built. I think that talking about Berkeley Way Project, we have to talk about the collaboration and all the people and organizations that made it possible to reach this point. So without further ado, we'd like to acknowledge them.
And now for the symbolic groundbreaking. 3, 2, 1. We thank you all for tuning in this morning, and we will look forward to providing you updates during construction. We expect construction completion in May of 2022. Have a lovely day, and thank you. Bye-bye.